Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, our friends from the media, and dear students. My name is Aditya Malik, and once again, on the occasion of the birth anniversary of the great spiritual leader Swami Vivekanandji, it's an honor to welcome you to day two of the virtual edition of the 25th National Youth Festival, which aims to inspire the youth of today to build a better tomorrow. Saksham Bharat, Sashakt Bharat. Along with that, it's indeed a proud moment for all of us as Indians as we celebrate the 75th year of Indian independence, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. And now, moving towards our second session, our topic is on how do you leverage technology for entrepreneurship. While in a lot of our sessions, we have laid emphasis on the lesser known India, urban India too has played a catalytic role in seeding entrepreneurial spirit of our youth. Urban India, propelled by technology, is bringing about a positive change and expanding our horizons and perspectives. With a perfect blend of technology and entrepreneurship, various entrepreneurs are creating a whole new positive entrepreneurial ecosystem. And to tell you on how to do it the best, we have with us an influencer who has acted as a bridge between technology and entrepreneurship, a podcaster and an influencer in its truest sense. Mr. Ranveer Allahabadia is here to talk more about how can you leverage technology for your business benefit. Ranveer, welcome and all the very best. Please take it away.
Namaste, everyone. Namaste. I hope everyone's doing well. Honored to be a part of this event, especially considering the fact that this is in line with Swami Vivekanandji's National Youth Day. It stands for everything he stood for, which is spreading the teachings of India, and that's kind of what I want to do. For those of you who are not familiar with my work, I'm a YouTuber. I'm also an entrepreneur. Always wanted to get into entrepreneurship. Startups build करने थे और उसकी वजह से somehow we got into YouTube. So yeah, that's the kind of nature of the journey. It's been a 6-year journey. We have about 8 YouTube channels now. We're running 4 startups parallelly. We invest in the Indian startup system and entirely self-taught. मैंने engineering college से graduation करी. After graduating from engineering, we figured that I figured that I didn't want to go for a higher education. And honestly, personally, for me, I feel the strongest education you can have in life is always self-education. So, for me, I look at this presentation also like a self-education for you guys. If you all are attending this, I want you to take away a lot of value, take away inspiration. But most of all, what I want from this is I want to provide something that was not available for me when I was fresh out of college. College is great, education is amazing, it unlocks certain things in your mind, but a lot of the unlocking has to be done by yourself after the age of 22. That 22 to 30 years age bracket is very important for the rest of your life. And I've made a very, very simple, very, very basic presentation about some learnings that I've had in the last 6 years and learnings that I feel you can apply as the youth of India, as the future of this great country. So I'd love to actually begin the presentation very quick and then we can go into a conversational section. Okay, so I've kind of made this from the perspective of how the world looks at our country. Now, because of the nature of my job, I have 2 brands, right? I have an English brand and a regional brand. Eventually, we want to get into Tamil, we want to get into Telugu, we want to get into Marathi, Punjabi, all Indian languages. Right now, we're just making videos in Hindi and in English. So, the English brand goes out to the world, and this is pretty much how the world looks at India. They look at us as two ends, right? Of course, there's many Indias within India, but these are the two ends. One's urban and one's rural, right? I'm going to be speaking from the urban end. Can you have the next slide, please? Okay, the reason the whole world has noticed India is obviously because of the size of our population. Second largest population in the world. It's the fastest growing economic power. There's basically a lot of business potential in our country. That's why you're seeing so many American brands, American businesses, European brands enter this country. Personally, I feel over the next 10 years, you're also going to see a lot of Indian businesses actually scale abroad as well. So the world is looking at our amazing country. You know, a lot of people would consider that India is a collection of many small countries inside one landmass. So I would kind of call that landmass Bharat, and people are looking at Bharatvarsh as this bubbling kind of pool of business opportunity as well as businesses. So they're very conscious of the fact that our population is big. There's a lot of opportunity for them here. They're also very conscious of the fact that a lot of young Indians are actually building businesses that will enter their country one day. Okay. But the next slide is even more important because the businesses will be built through you. I've taken a photo of Sachin Tendulkar and Jhulan Goswami. They're icons in their own sport, which is cricket, our favorite sport. Um, Remember the line at the top: every great athlete has an edge. And at the end of the day, yes, we're talking about business, yes, we're talking about startups, but businesses are driven through the leadership core. Often the leader at the top, the founders, the CEOs, the people who come up with the idea, you know, the actual leadership in the business. Which is why the question I have for each of y'all is, what is your edge? Every great athlete has an edge. हर मेन खिलाड़ी का एक एज होता है. आपका एज क्या है? ओके, I want everyone to think about that. And this whole presentation is about developing that edge right from the start. कहते हैं ना X factor. What is your X factor? You know, the first time you saw Virat Kohli bat, the first time you saw him play for India, he had that fire. Under 19 World Cup, I think it was 2008 or 7. You knew there was something about this person. Sometimes you see an X factor in people. This presentation is about developing your X factor. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay, now I feel there's stuff to learn from all of India. Personally, I know for a fact I represent urban India. And these are the faces of urban India, right? This is Virat Kohli, Ananya Pandey. These are who people associate with Indian cities often. Not all the time, but often. And urban India has these bunch of learnings, right? Like these are things that really kind of signify urban India. And when I'm talking about urban India, I'm primarily talking about Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, all the IPL team centers mainly. But this is what represents the people. The people have these traits usually. There's a lot of fast pace. लोग स्पीड के साथ सोच रहे हैं. There's usage of social media. लोग अपने बिजनेसेस के लिए, अपने करियर्स के लिए सोशल मीडिया यूज कर रहे हैं शहरों में. ठीक है, शहरों की बात हो रही है यहाँ. There's a world view. एज इन लोगों के पास इंटरनेशनल एक्सपोजर है कि फॉरेनर्स कैसे सोचते हैं, अमेरिकन कैसे सोचते हैं, यूरोपियंस कैसे सोचते हैं. There's a lot of focus nowadays on life hacking, especially after the pandemic. ठीक है, लोग खुद की लाइफ को देख के ये सोच रहे हैं कि हाउ कैन आई improve things. People are constantly thinking about, okay, what are the fitness hacks, what are the mental health hacks, what are the lifestyle hacks I can bring into my own life. And the fifth and final highlight is English. ठीक है, देखो, आई स्ट्रांगली फील कि अगर आपको इंग्लिश बोलनी नहीं आती, वैसे प्रॉब्लम नहीं है आज के ज़माने में. ठीक है, यू कैन बिल्ड अ वेरी वेरी सक्सेसफुल करियर, वेरी वेरी सक्सेसफुल बिजनेस विदाउट नोइंग मच इंग्लिश. पर हमारे देश में अलग अलग स्टेट्स में अलग अलग भाषा बोली जाती है. विच इज़ वाई मैंने बहुत सारे हिस्टोरियन से बात करी. आई स्पोक टू लॉट ऑफ हिस्टोरियंस अबाउट दिस एंड दे सेड कि इन द नेक्स्ट 100 years इट मेक्स सेंस फॉर ऑल इंडियंस टू लर्न इंग्लिश. Maybe in the future we can have one unifying language. It could be Sanskrit at some point. आगे जाके शायद हर इंडियन संस्कृत बोल पाएगा. पर आज के ज़माने में with the access to the kind of information we have on the internet, English is a very key factor in urban India and I feel for the rest of India, and we'll come to why later. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay. I'm trying to make this a very actionable kind of presentation for you. These are my 6 steps for greatness in terms of, I feel kind of what you need to keep in mind post college, pre career is just these 6 steps. इन 6 steps को अगर आपने याद रखा, अगर इन पे build किया, definitely आपका career बहुत ज़्यादा दूर जा सकता है. तो please, I suggest that if you're sitting with a notepad, just note some of these things down. Feel free to take screenshots. But gain value from this, and I'll do it very fast, okay, because I want to go into the interaction. So let's get into it. Let's go to the first slide, please. I mean, the next slide. Okay. So, step one. Everyone knows this gentleman. He's made our childhoods even better. His name is M.S. Dhoni. What I've got to highlight about Dhoni, obviously, is what everyone knows him for, his mentality, right? Just give me a second, guys. Yes. So, I've kind of half taken from Dhoni and I've half taken from people who have mentored me. मेरे एक mentor है Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai. He's an expert on Chanakya. He's one of the country's top corporate coaches. He also works with the government very closely. A lot of what you see in this particular slide is from him. So I got to know him about 3 years back, and the one big mentoring advice he gave me. Look, कहते रहते ना, I want a mentor. Everyone says, oh, I need a mentor in my life to grow. I want this particular PPT to have that mentoring role a little bit in your early careers. कुछ उखाड़ना है ना करियर में, उसके लिए मेंटरिंग चाहिए रहती है. आप इस पीपीटी को एक मेंटरिंग प्रेजेंटेशन की तरह देख सकते हो. Radhakrishnan Pillai told me that always the first mentality switch you need to have is be a job creator rather than a job seeker. हर कोई, ऑलमोस्ट हर इंडियन, मैं खुद भी पहले ये सोचता था कि नहीं, मुझे सिर्फ एक अच्छी जॉब चाहिए. ओके, एंड दैट्स फाइन. अर्ली ऑन योर करियर दैट्स परफेक्टली ओके टू गेन एक्सपीरियंस. बट आपके अर्ली करियर में एज 25, एज 28, एज 30 तक आपके दिमाग में एक ऐसी स्विच होनी चाहिए. यू शुड हैव दिस मेंटालिटी स्विच ऑफ टर्निंग इनटू अ जॉब क्रिएटर. अगर आप कॉर्पोरेट जॉब भी कर रहे हो, अगर आप किसी और के बिजनेस में काम कर रहे हो, तो ऑलवेज थिंक फ्रॉम अ पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ एक्सपेंशन कि ठीक है, मैं ये काम कर रहा हूँ, हाउ कैन आई गेट अ टीम टू डू द सेम रोल. इफ यू हैव बीन गिवन अ पर्टिकुलर रोल इन एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, हाउ कैन यू स्केल दैट रोल. And it seems very simple, but just this mentality switch can change everything for the trajectory of your life and your career. And yes, I'm talking about building India, I'm talking about building the future of the world. But at the end of the day, all of us first and foremost have to build the future of our families, our parents. Think about that perspective. You want a bigger paycheck, कि salary में आपको increase चाहिए. It'll begin from these kind of mentalities. So the first mentality is become a job creator rather than becoming a job seeker. Okay, part of the mentality switch is use the business hacks available in books, use lifestyle hacks to actually kind of change the nature of your business, your career. There's a lot of free career guidance out there on the internet. ठीक है. The third thing I would definitely say is think about this concept called productivity. एक subject होता है, जैसे स्कूल में हमें हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी, मैथमेटिक्स सिखाए जाते हैं, उसी तरह एक और सब्जेक्ट होता है अडल्टहुड में, एज 22 के बाद. उस सब्जेक्ट का नाम है प्रोडक्टिविटी. द सब्जेक्ट यू हैव टू फोकस ऑन इन लाइफ इज प्रोडक्टिविटी, एंड देयर इज नो एंड टू दैट सब्जेक्ट. प्रोडक्टिविटी का मतलब ये है कि आप एक दिन में कितना काम कर पाते हो, कितना यूजफुल काम कर पाते हो. हाउ मच वर्क आर यू एबल टू डू इन वन डे, दैट्स प्रोडक्टिविटी. So focus on productivity as a subject, and that's a mentality switch. That's a base layer of the subject. पता है, जब आप केक खाते हो ना, केक के नीचे वो जो बिस्किट रहता है ना, जो कड़क लेयर रहता है, this is that. Step one is the biscuit. So work on these mentality aspects. And obviously I highlight once again, learn English. It should be a part of your mentality. It ties everything together. कल जाके you know you're working on a business for 10 years. At the end of 10 years, say you want to expand abroad, and think about expanding abroad. You're only going to be expanding internationally if you know basics of English. You don't need to know very fluent, very fancy English, but basics. You should be able to communicate a little bit. And पता है, मेरी खुद की हिंदी थोड़ी कमज़ोर थी, तो मैंने क्या किया, मैंने क्रिकेट को हिंदी में देखना शुरू किया. ठीक है, और उससे मेरी हिंदी स्ट्रांग हो गई. उसी तरह अगर आपको अपनी इंग्लिश स्ट्रांग करनी है, इंग्लिश में क्रिकेट देखने लगो. Start watching cricket in English, start watching sports in English, start watching movies in English. Have a mentality switch. And by age 30, age 35, aim to be able to talk in English. It'll tie you to the whole globe, but it'll also tie you to urban India very strongly. Okay. Can you have the next slide, please? Step 2, क्योंकि मैं खुद एक सोशल मीडिया क्रिएटर हूँ, आई एम अ यूट्यूबर माई सेल्फ, एक चीज हाईलाइट करना चाहूंगा कि लोग अक्सर यूट्यूब को, टिकटॉक को सिर्फ एंटरटेनमेंट, कॉमेडी, म्यूजिक के लिए यूज करते हैं. मोस्ट ऑफ द कंट्री, आई हैव मेट लॉट्स ऑफ तेलुगु पीपल, आई हैव मेट तमिल पीपल, आई हैव ऑब्वियसली मेट पीपल फ्रॉम द नॉर्दर्न बेल्ट, दिल्ली, यूपी, बिहार. And everyone uses the internet mainly for comedy. You know, you watch a nice Govinda movie, you watch Johnny Lever scenes, you watch an amazing song. You know, that's primarily what people are using YouTube for. YouTube has a bank of knowledge which will fuel your step 1 and your step 3 to 6. So have that mentality switch when it comes to social media as well. And you've got to find these aspects of YouTube yourself. Okay, there is a lot of knowledge people put out there. I've made my whole career out of putting educative content that will help with productivity, content that will help with English. ठीक है, ऐसे भी कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स होते हैं. सिर्फ म्यूजिक नहीं देखो यूट्यूब पे, सिर्फ एंटरटेनमेंट कॉमेडी मत देखो यूट्यूब पे. कपिल शर्मा एक महान इंसान है, बट उनके अलावा भी बहुत सारे यूट्यूब क्रिएटर्स हैं. बाकी यूट्यूब के दुनिया को आपको एक्सप्लोर करने की ज़रूरत है अभी, स्पेशली फॉर योर करियर. ठीक है, सो इफ यू वांट टू टेक योर करियर फॉर, ट्रस्ट मी, all your guidelines, all your mentoring are available free of cost, without any money, on YouTube. There are also online courses where you have to pay a little bit, but you have a lot of education that's available for free on YouTube. And if you're not motivated to watch educative content, understand that every time you're watching one educational video, a video that, you know, teaches you something in 10 minutes, teaches you something in 15 minutes, you're actually doing a favor to your own parents and your own future family. जो आपके बच्चे होने वाले ना आगे जाके, उनके भले के लिए सोचो. दैट्स वन की. इसलिए यूट्यूब पर आपको एजुकेशनल कंटेंट थोड़ा थोड़ा देखना चाहिए. प्रोडक्टिविटी क्या होती है, इंग्लिश को बेहतर कैसे बनाते हैं, इस टाइप का कंटेंट यूट्यूब पे देखो, इस टाइप का कंटेंट इंस्टा पे देखो, इस टाइप का कंटेंट फेसबुक पे देखो. सोशल मीडिया को लेकर आपकी एक मेंटालिटी स्विच होनी चाहिए. ओके, कैन वी हैव द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. स्टेप 3, ये मेरी एक फेवरेट मूवी है, गुरु. आई अर्ज एवरीबडी टू वॉच दिस मूवी. It has Abhishek Bachchan. It's Guru. It's loosely based on the life of Dhirubhai Ambani, one of the country's greatest business stories. It movie changed my life. 6th standard में मैंने ये movie देखी थी. तो it was just an incredible experience learning from this movie. You know, we talk about learning from YouTube, learning from social media. Learning is nothing without the application of those learnings. So please, that's basically what this slide is about. Apply actual changes in your life from the world of social media. आप social media से कुछ सीख रहे हो, apply it. मान लो आपने communication skills सीख ली, आपने बोलने का तरीका सीख लिया, तो अगली बार जब आप पार्टी के लिए जा रहे हो, अगली बार जब आप किसी को मिलने जा रहे हो, तो उन चीज़ों को अप्लाई कीजिए. या जो चीज़ें आपने सीखी है उन्हें उस पार्टी में, उस कॉन्वर्सेशन में उन लोगों के साथ शेयर कीजिए. तो शेयरिंग से ना आपकी लर्निंग तगड़ी हो जाती है. When you share your learnings, especially what you've learned off of social media, they just become stronger in your head. So apply the changes in your life. If you have a business, get coached in basics of business from YouTube. There's a lot of amazing business channels. मान लो आपकी एक दुकान है, आपका कोई भी बिजनेस है, छोटा बिजनेस भी हो सकता है. उस बिजनेस को इंप्रूव करने के लिए, आपके सेल्स बढ़ाने के लिए, आपके प्रॉफिट्स बढ़ाने के लिए, आप चीज़ें यूट्यूब से सीख सकते हो. उन चीज़ों को बिजनेस में अप्लाई करो. साइंस में एक्सपेरिमेंट्स होते हैं ना, एक्सपेरिमेंट्स कीजिए. ठीक है, दैट्स वन वेरी की फैक्टर. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, हर साल आपको आपके एम्स थोड़े ज्यादा होने चाहिए. क्रिकेट का एग्जांपल ले लेता हूं. हर साल आपको अपनी रन रेट इंक्रीज करनी चाहिए. वही मेंटालिटी रहनी चाहिए कि ओवर 10 to 20 में रन रेट इतनी होगी, 20 to 30 रन रेट और ज्यादा होगी, 30 to 40 और ज्यादा होगी, 40 to 50 और ज्यादा होगी. इंक्रीज योर रन रेट एवरी ईयर. Have these personal goals, write down your goals, talk a lot to yourself. Self-improvement often will begin in your thoughts, in your mind. Turn what's in your mind to what's on paper. So it's very applicable feedback, and this is what I've done every year. In January of every year, I take a pen and paper and write down my goals at least for the next 6 months to a year. आगे का सोचिए. And that's one strong thing I see about urban India. It's a strength of urban India. Everyone thinks a little bit ahead. A little bit. A year ahead. They know where they want to be in December of that year or January of the next year. It's something you can gain, and that's a very kind of guru mentality, as I call it. Obviously, learn basics of personal finance. Do not let your money just lie in your savings account. You've got to learn what to do with that money. I believe we had Ankur Variku on this event as well, or I think he's going to be there. Talks a lot about personal finance, incredible videos on personal finance on Instagram, YouTube. Again, from YouTube you can learn about personal finance. Personal finance क्या होता है? Basically जो पैसे आप कमा रहे हो, आपके सेविंग्स अकाउंट में उन्हें मत छोड़िए। उन पैसों के साथ कुछ कीजिए, एसआईपीज में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए, म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए। ये मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि ये देखो इस म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट करो, उस एसआईपी में इन्वेस्ट करो, बट एसआईपीज के बारे में सीखो, म्यूचुअल फंड्स के बारे में सीखो। बेसिकली लोग ना पर्सनल फाइनेंस को लेके ये सोचते हैं कि बहुत ज़्यादा ऐसे स्कीम्स है, जुगाड़ वाले स्कीम्स है, कोई मेरे पैसे चुरा के लेके जाएगा। ये सच नहीं है। यू नीड टू लर्न अबाउट पर्सनल फाइनेंस। सीखे इसके बारे में, क्या होते हैं म्यूचुअल फंड्स, उसका लॉजिक क्या होता है, एसआईपीज क्या होता है, उनके लॉजिक्स क्या होते हैं। तो यू गॉट टू गेट इनटू दिस वर्ल्ड ऑफ एसआईपीज, म्यूचुअल फंड्स, बिकॉज the salary you're earning can be multiplied if you know the basics. And I used to be very scared of it. मैं बहुत डरता था इस दुनिया से, पर्सनल फाइनेंस क्या होता है। मैंने थोड़ा सा लेट स्टार्ट किया लाइफ में, एज 24 पे स्टार्ट किया। मैं एज अभी 4 साल से कर रहा हूँ, और मेरी एक रिग्रेट है कि मैंने पहले क्यों नहीं स्टार्ट किया, कॉलेज में क्यों नहीं स्टार्ट किया। और अगर आपने भी पर्सनल फाइनेंस की गेम स्टार्ट नहीं किया, थोड़ी सी रिग्रेट आपके दिल में होनी चाहिए। यू शुड रिग्रेट इट अ लिटिल बिट। थोड़ा सा बुरा आपको लगना चाहिए कि मैंने पहले स्टार्ट क्यों नहीं किया। और उस बुरे फीलिंग की वजह से ना सीखो पहले पर्सनल फाइनेंस के बारे में। बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट लाइफ स्किल होती है। ये भी आप इंटरनेट से सीख सकते हो। प्लीज लर्न डिटेल्स ऑफ पर्सनल फाइनेंस फ्रॉम द इंटरनेट, फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट। फैंटास्टिक कंटेंट इज आउट देयर। इफ यू वांट सम यूट्यूब चैनल्स, यूट्यूब चैनल रणवीर अलाबादिया, अंकुर वारेकू, सब यूट्यूब चैनल के नाम दे रहा हूँ, लिख लो कहीं। रणवीर अलाबादिया, अंकुर वारेकू, सीए रचना रनाडे, these three are a good start, and then you can find more YouTube channels from there. Okay, and also understand that when it comes to business and your own personal growth, uh, आगे जाके 5 साल में 10 साल में पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग की एक बड़ी गेम होने वाली है सोशल मीडिया पे। इसका ये मतलब है कि आप सोशल मीडिया टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज कर सकते हो खुद के बिजनेस को ग्रो करने के लिए, खुद के करियर को ग्रो करने के लिए। whatever you want to grow in your career can be grown through the medium of social media. ये कैसे होता है, क्या होता है, इस पे भी हमने वीडियोस बनाए हैं। we've made lots of videos about this exact topic. Please go check it out. Ranveer Allahbadia's one Hindi channel, Beer Biceps is our English channel. Both videos contain a lot of ways to grow your career through social media. बहुत ही ज़्यादा ज़रूरी लाइफ स्किल है। पता है जो आजकल हम कॉलेजेस में सीखते हैं, मैंने खुद इंजीनियरिंग करी है। इंजीनियरिंग के कोई कोई हिस्से में आज यूज़ कर रहा हूँ, यूजिंग एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ इट, बट नॉट द एक्टिव सब्जेक्ट्स। जो जिस इंसान को मैंने नेम किया, डॉक्टर राधाकृष्णन पिल्ले, वो मेरे मेंटर है। उन्होंने मुझसे ये कहा कि देखो वो एजुकेशन के साथ काम करे, इंडियन एजुकेशन सिस्टम को बदल रहे, थोड़ा थोड़ा, आई मीन स्लोली बदल रहे, थोड़े थोड़े चेंजेस ला रहे हैं इंडियन एजुकेशन सिस्टम में। तो उन्होंने भी मुझसे ये कहा कि एट दिस स्टेज एजुकेशन इज ड्रिवन बाय द इंटरनेट। ठीक है, सोशल मीडिया ग्रोथ एक स्किल होती है, लाइफ स्किल होती है आज के ज़माने में। प्लीज़ सोशल मीडिया के बारे में और ज़्यादा सीखिए। यू गॉट टू लर्न हाउ टू ग्रो थिंग्स ऑन सोशल मीडिया। इट्स वेरी डूएबल। वी हैव अ वेरी बिग कंट्री विद अ वेरी बिग पॉपुलेशन। देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ रूम। लोग अक्सर ना सोशल मीडिया को देख के ये कहते हैं कि यार इतने सारे लोग अभी से ही इतना ज़्यादा ग्रो कर चुके हैं, तो मेरे लिए रूम कैसे बनेगा, मैं कैसे ग्रो कर पाऊंगा या कर पाऊंगी। प्लीज, इट्स नॉट टू लेट टू स्टार्ट। इवन इफ यू स्टार्ट 5 years later, इट स्टिल वोंट बी टू लेट टू स्टार्ट। 5 साल बाद भी अगर आपने अपनी सोशल मीडिया की शुरुआत करी तो ज्यादा लेट नहीं है। प्लीज 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 बिगिन योर सोशल मीडिया गेम। जो भी बिजनेस आप चला रहे हो, उस बिजनेस को फायदे मिल सकते हैं सोशल मीडिया के थ्रू। तो कीप वन आई ऑन ग्रोइंग सोशल मीडिया। ये एक लाइफ स्किल होती है। ओके, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज। इस स्लाइड को मैं बहुत ही सिंपली समझा दूंगा। अगर आपको लाइफ में कुछ भी उखाड़ना है, वो टीम के थ्रू आप उखाड़ोगे। यू वांट टू अचीव एनीथिंग, इट विल हैपन थ्रू टीम वर्क। पीपल स्किल्स सीखिए, दूसरों के साथ काम करने के टेक्निक सीखिए, कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स, लीडरशिप जैसे टेक्निक सीखिए। यू गॉट लर्न ऑल दीज स्किल्स लाइक लीडरशिप, कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स टू रियली किल इट। द बिगर योर गोल्स आर, द लार्जर योर टीम विल नीड टू बी. So learn how to work with people. This is one thing we need to change collectively as a society. There needs to be a lot more unity. There needs to be a lot more community energy. You shouldn't look at other states and say, oh no, I am a Maharashtrian, that's why I won't work with this person. I'm Punjabi, that's why I won't work with this person. I'm Tamilian, that's why I won't work with this person. Look at the Indian team. It's a collection of people from different states. That's why I've put the Indian cricket team again. Learn from sport. Life is not an individual sport. Life is not tennis. Life is like cricket. Okay, you have to work in teams, especially when your goals are large. So find people, train them. Even these kind of skills are available on YouTube. अगर आपको नहीं पता कि कैसे स्केल करते हैं, कैसे टीम वर्क को इम्प्रूव करते हैं, तो यूट्यूब से सीख लीजिए. Anyway, next slide. Step 5, very simple, look for mentors. जैसे कि आप देख सकते हो मैंने विराट कोहली सचिन तेंदुलकर की एक फोटो डाल दिया. सचिन had mentored विराट. He has played a role in his success. अगर आपको भी लाइफ में विराट कोहली बनना है, आपको एक सचिन तेंदुलकर की ज़रूरत होगी. अगर आपके लाइफ में अभी कोई सचिन तेंदुलकर नहीं है तो इंटरनेट से ढूंढ लीजिए, इंटरनेट को अपना सचिन तेंदुलकर बना दीजिए. फाइंड योर मेंटर ऑनलाइन, टर्न द इंटरनेट इनटू अ मेंटर. डोंट फियर मिस्टेक्स. अगर आपसे गलतियां हो गई, अगर आप कोई चीज़ में फेल हो गए तो उस फेलियर को, उन गलतियों को एनालाइज कीजिए. थिंक अबाउट योर फेलियर्स, थिंक अबाउट योर मिस्टेक्स, go back and analyze, try figuring what you did wrong, come out. You have to go with that warrior mentality, right? I'm a part of a spiritual school, एक योगा का स्कूल है, YSS, योगानंद सत्संग सोसाइटी ऑफ इंडिया. ठीक है. उस स्पिरिचुअल स्कूल से मैंने बहुत कुछ सीखा है, और हमारा एक अर्ली लेसन ये था कि जब आप सुबह में उठते हो ना, एक वॉरियर वाली मेंटालिटी होनी चाहिए कि आपको कल क्या हुआ उस पर फोकस नहीं करना चाहिए, आने वाले कल में क्या होना चाहिए उस पर फोकस नहीं करना चाहिए, आज पे फोकस करना चाहिए, और खुद से ये कहना चाहिए कि यार मैं एक योद्धा हूँ. वॉरियर मेंटालिटी है मेरे अंदर. बिल्ड दैट वॉरियर मेंटालिटी इनसाइड यू एवरी डे व्हेन यू वेक अप. ओके. एम्ब्रेस योर ओन मिस्टेक्स, एम्ब्रेस योर ओन फेलियर्स. इट्स ओके, जस्ट डोंट मेक देम अगेन. बस अपने गलतियों को रिपीट मत कीजिए, गलतियों को बार बार होने मत दीजिए. Find mentorship, don't fear mistakes. That's the basis of step 5. And step 6. Next slide, please. बहुत बेसिक लॉजिक है. डू इट फॉर इंडिया. भारत को आपकी ज़रूरत है आने वाले 10 सालों में. इंडिया नीड्स यू फॉर द नेक्स्ट 10 years. We're one country. We're growing economically. We're growing from a business perspective. So do it for your country. And if for some reason you're not patriotic, I don't know why that would be. Think about your family as well, right? I'm telling you, doing it for your country is one of the greatest motivations you can have in your own life. इससे बड़ी और कोई मोटिवेशन नहीं होती. देश के लिए कुछ कीजिए. स्टेप 6, अगर आपको और तगड़ा बनाना है तो स्टेप 1 to 5 फिर से स्टडी कीजिए. बहुत बेसिक होता है. बिजनेस ग्रोथ, करियर ग्रोथ. एंड आई जस्ट वांट टू एंड विद द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. जय हिंद. साथ में बोलो, जय हिंद, भारत माता की जय. Okay, that's all I want to say. So that was the presentation from me. I think we can move into the next section. This was a nice basis to start. Okay.
Yes. Lovely, Ranveer. I think this is the shortest yet the most effective presentation that at least I have come across. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I tried making it very, very simple. Sorry, there was a slight mess up on the fonts. I don't know why, but I'm glad with how it turned out.
Technology, you're learning. Still learning. We'll keep learning, I feel. You know, we were discussing this with Ankur yesterday. I think mute yourself or unmute yourself is going to be the phrase of the year.
Yeah, that's completely true, yaar.
Lovely. You know, now that, of course, apart from listening to you, I have a few other questions as well. So I'll shoot them straight because you want it to be like a good talk session. Ranveer, we've spoken about, you know, having that edge, that X factor. You know, if I ask you what's your edge, because that will help people in identifying exactly how to identify that edge, because usually we have it. Identifying is all that we need to do. So what's yours?
I think identification was the edge, that I'm very aware of what's in my own head. Self-awareness is an edge. And self-awareness, people often think that it's related to meditation, which it is, you know, or yoga or just growing older. But a very simple way to create more self-awareness, खुद के दिमाग को जानना. You basically get into a process of writing. Whatever you're feeling in your head, you get into journaling. You write down every single day. And that's one correct thing that I've been able to do. I've either meditated or I've journaled for every single day of my career. So it gives you a very good mirror about your own life. Write as much as you can. Even if you're doing a business, write about what you're thinking about that business. If you want to get somewhere, write the strategy in your head. So a lot of writing, lots of meditation. And it's not really my edge. I feel it's anyone's edge. Anyone can use this. It's not my unique edge or anything. I've just stuck to that process.
Lovely. You know, also we hear a lot from you about mentor and mentorship. Now, of course, everybody has exposure. people are learning, people are wanting to embark their knowledge and, of course, share it. How do you exactly identify your mentor?
At the start, it's always about your family, friends, or some relative who you look up to. At the start of your career, it'll always be this for everybody. Maybe one of your college teachers or something like that. Someone who's within your circle. You'll only get better mentors in life when you actually do something with your career. So if you've gone to a certain degree in your career, you'll be able to attract the right people yourself. You'll meet someone at a conference, you'll meet someone at an event, and then you just hit it off. At the core, mentoring comes out of friendship. So first, focus on making friends in life. So early in life, you're only going to be able to make friends with people who are in your own social circle. But आगे जाके, it depends on how much you do in your own career. You'll feel a natural friendship with some people. Mentoring is a very natural kind of give and take process. So don't go out looking for mentors. Focus on your own career. But at this stage, if you really want guidance, it'll come from your family and your family friends.
Lovely. No, so at least it's contrary to what I should think, that your biggest criticizers are your families, because when you start something, especially in an artist domain, the first thing I was like, no, yeah, a job is what you should look at, because of course they take care of you, they love you. So, but thank you at least for trying to change that mindset. And as a Ranveer, we've spoken of productivity. Now, usually what happens, at least in today, I'm looking at Ranveer. Oh shit, yeah, Ranveer is doing 10 hours of content, and I'm just doing one. Now, I might be, that 1 hour might be my productivity, and that's good enough for me. But of course, my eye is on Ranveer. So, how much productivity is enough productivity? Is there a measure, or how do you stop, or how do you keep yourself calm?
I feel you have, that's why I highlighted yearly goals that much. That let's actually put numbers against it. You have to figure where you want to be by December, and you have to figure that in January, and then divide it by like how many months are available for you, how many hours in the week you can give. Life is different for everybody, but what you can actually change is your own quantification of your goals, putting numbers on your goals. So for me, I have put this kind of target in my head of at least 4 original videos every week, and I have to anyhow get those done. So that's my base of productivity. And once I tick off that as a YouTuber, and I tick off the number of hours that I've dedicated to each of my startups, then it's a free set. Then I can kind of work even more if I want. I can write more, I can do more. That's completely up to me. But put numbers against where you wish to be at the end of this year. So many of us want social media careers. Are you willing to put up a video every single day, including Sundays? If you're just able to do that, and that's the goal you set out for yourself at the beginning of the year, that's fine. It's up to you. So that's what I would say.
Okay. And now let's come to Instagram. We are talking about social media now, of course, technology and the future. So a lot of people, let's say, you mentioned comedy. See, I'm looking at comedy, and also that comedy is working on Instagram, probably or possibly a dance or a comedy sketch gets people, it gets me my likes and my views. Whereas if you want to put something more on the educational front, let's say, now that you've seen a lot of influencers rise up, somebody's talking about money, something, you've chosen your domain, and people are wondering, yeah, I am also talking good, I'm also sharing my experience. Why am I not getting my due credit? Of course, algorithm is there. People will learn that with time. What apart from that do you think is, yes, this should work? Try this.
See, at the end of the day, who are we selling our businesses to? It's other Indians. Okay, and every time you want to understand how to sell more to other Indians, please understand that the greatest industries in our country are Bollywood, Tollywood, the entire South film industry, the entire Indian film industry in general. And Indians in their core love masala. They love a mixture of things. They want to see little bits of entertainment. Entertainment भी चाहिए, गाने भी चाहिए, action भी चाहिए, emotions भी चाहिए, family drama भी चाहिए. So you have to learn how to make even your educational content entertaining. It's a edutainment, join education and entertainment. It's a very key feature of social media. You can't just be a boring person talking about education. This is where social media becomes a skill. Mimic the Indian film industry in general. You have to make it entertaining also. You have to use good lights. You have to use good cameras, good mics, these kind of things. And it's okay if you don't have the money to spend on right now. We all have phones. You can actually make very good quality content with your phones, but you need to have a skill with using this. Even with a basic phone, this isn't a basic phone, but even with a basic phone, if you have good lighting, nowadays with the cameras and sound equipment we have, you can do fantastic work. Okay, so there's no excuses in the modern day. That's what I feel.
And now that, of course, you and Monk Entertainment have moved ahead in life, but if we go back to initial years thing, when you're starting out, how did you exactly divide your time? Let's say, okay, I will look at probably giving myself 2 hours every day to replying to DMs or doing this or doing that. And not Instagram generally, YouTube, Facebook, har jagah, social media. How did you really divide your time? Did you have your friends walk in and help you?
So first and foremost, always focus on money. Profits kahan se aa rahe hain? Where your profits coming from?
Hmm.
That's the key. Social media is amazing, but it's not going to pay you for maybe 1 year of doing it. So where are you earning money from? For me, I was a fitness trainer. I used to go and I used to divide my day half into social media and half into fitness training. How did I become a fitness trainer? Because I worked on those skills while I was in college. I did engineering and I'd also studied fitness on the side just for fun. Then I realized, oh wow, people actually pay for this skill. So understand how you're making money and first increase the amount of money you're earning. Because once you have money, you can actually do a lot more on social media. The same job that would take you 3 hours will now take you 1 hour because maybe you've invested in a better device. Maybe you have someone to help you. You're able to pay someone's salary. So first and foremost, focus on money. And then secondly, when it comes to social, when it comes to social media, you choose two platforms. कोई भी दो प्लेटफॉर्म ले लो, यूट्यूब या यूट्यूब और इंस्टाग्राम, यूट्यूब और ट्विटर, इंस्टाग्राम और ट्विटर. Choose two platforms and just attack them. Every platform has its own strategy, its own game plan, its own science and logic. So understand the science and logic, go deep inside. ठीक है? And what this will do is, one, it will increase your social media numbers, but social media platforms are a good representation of business as well. You'll become a better business person. Your business skills will improve through social media. Your sales skills, your marketing skills will improve. Then aage jaake in life, you can do whatever. But study these like subjects. These are just like mathematics or geography or English or Hindi or Tamil. So you have to go into these like subjects, earn money and then treat it like a subject. That's what I'll say.
Lovely. Or only because now I want to focus more on the initial days because right now majority of the people who are watching are in that space where you were a few years back. Yeah. So now I've usually seen that two kind of people. One, okay, let's say with what you are right now, that I have 1 day of uploading this, 1 day of observing that, third day of doing this, fourth day reviewing, identifying and acting. And then there are many other people, at least whom I have met, and let's say I want to make a video. I want to write something on the internet, a blog. I start and I think, nahi yaar, let me just wait for it. Let me wait for the idea to write first, and then I'll put it out. So what category do you fall in? Are you the one who's like, no, I have it. Let's go explore. Let's shoot. Or are you, let's wait?
Every single content creator and every single person I've hosted on the podcast, which are business leaders, you know, top actors, top sports people, all of them have one thing in common, which is that first they do, then they think. They don't analyze too much. And that's the best piece of advice that I've also got in my life, that just put out your thought in the world. Release the video. Don't think too much. Don't think about, oh, it's not good enough right now. We are living in the age of short content. It's not that difficult to put out a 30-second piece or 1 minute piece. So first put out your stuff and then think about how it will do. This is not this is not completely true for business, but especially in social media, when it comes to content, when it comes to writing, anything creative, you put it out in the real world. Because only when you get actual feedback from your friends, from your family, will you understand what you need to improve. Maybe you are thinking you need to improve this one particular thing, and the actual feedback you get is, no, no, you don't need to improve that, you need to improve this other thing in your content. Then you can start working on that other thing. So actually putting out your work for the audiences, for the public, helps you improve. And that's a big advantage that we have over the world of films. Films don't know kind of what will end up working, and it's a lot of tukka, it's a lot of guesswork. They think that, हाँ ठीक है, ये शायद चल जाएगा. This is a good masala film. Many times it doesn't work. But with content, you can put out a piece and it's okay if you fail. The next one, you're putting out the next day. So it's a big advantage that you should use. And it's a big, beautiful aspect of social media, I feel.
Lovely. Now that you've spoken of your podcast as an example, now when I listen to your podcast, I've of course listened to that gentleman or that lady in various other formats. But when I come to you, I'm like, okay, he's researched well. This is something new for me to pick up. Now, and the same when I apply to life. Let's say you're starting out something new, and I have technology. We were talking about technology, and of course, young people out there. How are you really leveraging technology for that research in whatever domain that you are in today?
So I'd asked Priyanka Chopra that what is the one standout feature about her, like why has she succeeded at every stage of her career? And she said that no matter what she does, it could be music, it could be Hollywood, it could be Bollywood, it could be anything, business. She always focuses on the concept of preparation. Whatever you're going into in life, you have to kind of go in with a sense of research you've done before it. You have to understand the room you are entering. You have to understand who you're talking to. You have to understand what you're talking about. So always focus. It's a very simple, thoda dadaji input, but just focus on preparation. It's a very big life lesson, and a lot of us know it. Like that's why are exams even a thing? It's to teach us the process of preparation for life. In childhood you have exams. You have to study for those. In the same way that studying process never stops. Maybe it gets shorter, but it never stops. That's what I like to say. And that those people who stand out in meetings, in content, in business are always the ones who are the most prepared for it.
You're talking about preparation now, Ranveer. What do you think is the first step to exploring? And I'm sure like it wasn't that when you were born, you knew, okay, where biceps is going to be, and I'm going to train somebody and that will turn my life. It might have come from a personal experience of yours, or you might have seen somebody experience that. What do you think is the first step to exploring for anything?
Whatever you have fun doing, whatever you enjoy consuming. If it's cricket you enjoy watching, you can actually build a career in cricket one day or around cricket. There are that many opportunities in the modern day. Maybe you can go to the Caribbean and set up some cricket based business there if you feel India is completely saturated. But go into places that you actually enjoy. And this is one beautiful thing about the media industry that I'm a part of. Every single person here, all the professionals really enjoy being a part of it because they grew up enjoying films, they grew up enjoying YouTube, they grew up enjoying TV, and now they get to build a career in this. So, whatever you're enjoying, explore that a lot more. You'll find opportunity there, career opportunities. So, ask yourself, what do you have fun doing? And go deeper into that.
Lovely. And you now coming to your brand, keeping Ranveer at aside now. Okay, if I ask you what's the key difference according to Ranveer himself between Monk Entertainment and let's say Beer Biceps or you as an individual, what's the key difference?
I think Beer Biceps is very, very content driven. I'm broadcasting my whole life. So broadcasting and reaching out to people, like everyone knows about how I think, what's going on in my life. Because we do vlogs also. Vlogs are basically the best days of my life are shot on camera and kind of treated as its own film. So people really know my own evolution as a person as well. Like they understand, okay, now he's going through this, now he's thinking of this. So I think I'm basically building in public. That's what they call it in the startup world, where you're building your business or your brand in front of the whole world. So I think that's the standout feature. And it's a great, blessed life, honestly. No complaints.
Because your life is transparent, it's out there. Everybody knows Ranveer's family, what's he doing, where's he going. And when I also think of your business, and of course, seeing social media, there's a lot of people that you're working with. What is, and I know what's good, what you mentioned in your chat, but what exactly is non-negotiable for Ranveer or for the business?
Um, as a business person, I'll definitely highlight profits. It's something I've stuck to from the start. I've always focused on how do you make money. And this is something we don't talk about a lot in Indian society or even on panels. That where is the next big profit coming from? At the end of the day, everything else, these shelves you see around you, this camera we're using, this mic we're using, has come from a place of having solid profits, focusing on it from day one. And if there's anything I'd like to share with people through this journey, it is this that always keep focusing on making profits and increasing them every year, not to buy fancy cars or fancy clothes or anything, but it just creates safety and it creates opportunity for yourself. Money is energy and you can use it to make further energy. You can use it to build the country. You can use it to create jobs, which takes me back to the first slide of the PPT. If you have that mentality switch of being a job creator rather than a job seeker, you'll always focus on profits. So I don't remember your question. I'm sorry, may have digressed, but profits are a very important skill. That's what I'd say.
Absolutely. That's absolutely fine. Ranveer, keeping going on a lighter note, what's been that one moment here? Oh wow, oh lovely man, this is what I needed, either for me or for my brand. That one moment that you recall, that really I think that's it turned your life or just made it better.
So when I was growing up, I got very deep into fitness, bodybuilding, these things. I still work out, but it's not at the level I used to earlier. And my inspiration used to be someone called Arnold Schwarzenegger of Terminator. Everybody in the world has seen the movie Terminator. I used to have a poster of Arnold Schwarzenegger in my own room, and he was an icon. I used to listen to his speeches. I used to watch videos of him on YouTube. 3 years into YouTube, 4 years into YouTube, I was going to switch off my channel because I started a Hindi channel and an English, and I wanted to switch off the English channel. To make content easier for ourselves, we thought, okay, let's start a chat show because it's just me talking to people and it's easy. And by the 12th episode, somehow Priyanka Chopra reached out, Samne se, and Saif Ali Khan reached out, and we started getting all these crazy guests. By episode number 20, Arnold Schwarzenegger's team reached out to me. And that was like a very, how did this happen moment. It was for his new Terminator film, all that. And they flew us down to Korea. They flew us down to South Korea. And that whole experience was just very crazy in terms of this is someone who I've turned to in my lowest phase, as a source of inspiration. And now I get to talk to him, I get to meet him. Like it was very intense an experience. And that kind of just solidified that thing in my head of, every time you're thinking about shutting down something or calling something a failure, think again. You don't know what you're about to encounter in your own life. And that just, it gave me a lot of self-belief in my own life. This happened about 2-3 years ago. And even in these 2-3 years, we've had low phases, but that one thought of, wow, magic had happened back then. So why won't magic happen in the future? That one magical thought kind of keeps me going. So that's what I'd like to highlight.
From your answer, I have this one question. I ask this almost every of our guests. What's your thought on fake it till you make it?
It's a very complicated answer. I don't want to say that I back that thought because you see a lot of honestly dishonesty on social media. Dishonesty is bad. And आज के ज़माने में everyone can pick up dishonesty. So especially on social media, don't fake it till you make it. Rather give out your own learnings. People attach themselves to people who are authentic on social media. Authenticity is the key word nowadays. So whatever you are actually in your real life, just stay honest to it, stay true to it. Whatever you are, and you'll grow.
Ranveer, what we've spoken about what needs to be done to move ahead. To do that, what's that one thing that you really have, what you really feel at least the youth of today should stop doing? Apart from the money that you mentioned, you really need to find different ways of moving with it. What do you think is that one thing that you need to stop doing like right now?
Like, I'll talk about friendship. Choose your friends carefully. And distance yourself from people who discourage you early on in your career. When you're in college, when you're fresh out of college, lots of people around you. Definitely your family, but you can't distance yourself from your family. They are there. You can distance yourself from your friends, and you can choose friends who actually encourage you to go to that higher level. It's a very simple call to action. This is what I did very consciously from age 22 to 25. I cut off a lot of people from my life, and it was the best decision. So very simple, little hardcore input, but that's one change that a lot of people can make. Select your friends much more carefully.
I speak with people about how do they manage their successes and how do they use it to as a stepping stone for the next one. Because you've shared almost all your life with us, and we know there have been highs and lows. Do you really unlearn? Let's say you had something that didn't really work out. I won't say failure. It didn't really work out. And now you have to move towards something that's happening tomorrow again, a fresher idea. How does Ranveer unlearn, or he tells people to unlearn?
I take feedback a lot from my inner team. Sorry, my business partners as well. The plan is always we give each other feedback, because what happens through the course of your career is that you keep achieving things. You keep thinking that, yeah, I know 100%, I know whatever I need to know. But even someone like Virat Kohli, even someone like Dhoni at this stage will consciously be taking feedback. That's how you become a Virat Kohli or a Dhoni. So keep that feedback muscle very active. When people are giving you input about your career, or if someone's saying, oh, listen, you've become arrogant, or listen, you've become too angry nowadays, understand it's from a place of them trying to help you improve. So keep that very active. That's what I'd like to say.
Okay. Ranveer, being one of the youngest entrepreneurs in the country, let's say you're sitting on a table and there's $1 million deal happening. And I asked this to Ritesh as well. Does young age come as a competitive advantage, or like, oh, he's too young?
Very good question. From 22 to 25, people will take you for granted. This is what I've noticed. And you have to, grow facial hair. You have to dress more grown up. Right now, if we are going into a business meeting, often I'll wear formals. I'll wear a suit. It's for this reason. I know I look very young. Like I'm actually 28. Some people think I'm 22, 23. So I'll groom myself to look older, and that actually works. So you have to play a slightly materialistic game. Honestly, grow out a beard. Dress like you're older, groom yourself like you're older, because especially for some reason in India, people don't take you seriously when you're younger. Even if you're very good at your job. So you have to learn how to play that game as well. At this stage, again, I have fame as an advantage. People know who I am before I go into a meeting. So at this stage, I don't have that problem. Early on, I used to have that problem a lot, and we lost a lot of business deals because of that. So fix it early on.
Lovely. Now coming to the technology bit, because we are primarily discussing that. So at Monk Entertainment, does your team have somebody who's like constantly checking out something new to try out with, because you're there all over social media? So is somebody, or let's say, how is Monk Entertainment leveraging technology?
It's not just Monk Entertainment, it's everyone who's a part of Monk Entertainment and all my other organizations. We've set a culture of everyone from person A to Z, all the layers of the organization. Everyone has to stay in touch with what's happening in the world. So 10 years back, it wasn't easy because we didn't know what's happening in Silicon Valley, which is the startup hub of the world. Now you have Twitter. Twitter should not just be used for news or sports or entertainment. Follow people from Silicon Valley to understand how they are thinking. It's Twitter. What is Twitter? It's basically an inlet into people's minds. Even podcasts, same logic. You get an inlet into other people's minds. You have to stay in touch with what is blockchain, what's happening in the world of AI, what's happening in the world of cryptocurrencies. At least understand the logic of it. It's really not that difficult to stay in touch with it. We don't have a unit at Monkey, but we encourage it a lot with everyone who joins. That even if you are just working, say, as a videographer, as a music editor, still understand what's happening in the world of music technology, in the world of editing technology, in the world of videography, in the world of what we call fintech, financial technology. Every Indian should be encouraged to understand what's happening there, because it's like the rest of the world is in this Formula One car, they're going very fast. So you need to understand how that F1 car works and build one for yourself. And it's not that difficult. People think that all these terms are very difficult. It's just about your own effort. If you don't understand something, there are podcasts out there. So go research, understand from social media, and then kind of build an F1 car for yourself and kind of beat them in the race.
Ranveer, I'll put these two questions in one on the brand of yours. What are a few things that Ranveer and his team make sure that, okay, this is a must for our culture in our office, in all the organizations? Then second one, what exactly is success to your people?
I'll answer the second one first. Success is just ensuring that 2021 is better than 2020. You just compare yourself to your game from your last year. Do not focus too much on competition. Just focus on leveling up yourself. And if you constantly focus on that, eventually life is test cricket. Life is a stamina game. Life is a marathon. It's not T20. You're not competing with anyone. You're competing with yourself. That's success for me. Okay? If you're ahead of where you were last year, even as an organization. And the first question was, what is a cultural trait? We encourage people not to focus too much on their own wins. So if something has gone well in business, or if we've released a video that's done well, you move on to the next one. You take your learnings, you understand why it did well or why you won, and move on to the next one. This is called, in yoga, it's called sthirta. In world culture, it's called stoicism, where you just move on. Because see, wherever there are wins, you'll also lose in some cases. And you want to move on from losses as well. So don't get emotional about your wins. That's what I'd like to highlight.
Ranveer, my last two, three questions I'll ask you on a personal note. What exactly do we need to count that we are not counting?
Um, you need to gauge profits every year. Again, I'd like to highlight that again. Count how much money you're being able to make.
Okay, and let's say, because now it's again technology and the future. What is that one new website or a recent application that you've explored and want to share with the world?
It's a good question. Can I give you a technology that I've explored?
Anything.
So there is a new kind of gaming system in the world. It's called Roblox, and they say it's the future of social media. So it represents what virtual reality will be for us. I recommend everyone to watch this movie called Ready Player One. It's about this whole Metaverse concept. What is metaverse? All our jobs, all our meetings are going to happen in the metaverse. Why has Facebook renamed itself Meta? So get into that concept. And the technology I use is Roblox. It's a game, basically, where it's a collection of games which are created by users. As in, you and me can actually create our games and put it on that website. So Roblox is what I encourage people to check out.
Okay. Any books that Ranveer is reading currently and that he feels that people should read that?
I'm reading a book called The Way and the Power. It's about Japanese samurai culture. If that's too heavy, let's bring it back to India. I always recommend Autobiography of a Yogi. It's my favorite book. It's by Yoganand Paramhans. Every single person who wants to grow spiritually should read that book. And it's also got a lot of kind of hatke career hacks. So that's the one I encourage everyone to read.
Lovely. With that, Ranveer, I have one last question for you. For anybody who's just joined in, if I would ask you to sum up your session in 60 seconds precisely.
Okay, have a mentality switch, go into a whole self improvement zone in your head because the country is going to grow through individual growth. So first you focus on individuals. You know, when you have when you have a bottle of water, you got to ensure that your own bottle is filled completely first before you pour it into other people's glasses. So look at all the other people's glasses as the jobs you're going to create, as how you're going to help the country, but first focus on filling your own jar. How are you going to fill it? You're going to fill it through learning English even better, learning how to communicate in English better, also learning skills from social media. Understand how social media works. Everything you want to learn, it could even be very intense technology. It's all available on the internet. So don't just use the internet for entertainment, comedy, music. Use it to actually level up your own head. That's what I'd like to highlight. It's very simple.
Lovely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we come to an end of our session with Ranveer Allahabadia. He says, count your blessings, but also count your money. Keep exploring, shift out of your comfort zone. There is no good or bad. Everything is right. Just go for it. And while I say go for it, I would also request you to stay back, or let's say meet with us at 3 p.m. in the main hall for our next session. Till then, stay tuned, everybody. Thank you so much.